Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Grant Cameron, and if you're in the here and now, you're welcome to. I'm sitting here this week on a deck overlooking the pool outside of the Poco Palace where I live. They're putting another throne room in, so I will be muted a lot of the time. They're doing some construction here, but I'm joined by my co-host, who's on the skyline above Salt Lake City, Utah. And she's here to bring me a new guest here. So I'm going to turn it over to Cindy, although you may not have seen Cindy because she didn't say anything. Or say hello so you come on the speaker on the, just say hello.
Hi.
There you go, because then now your
Hi
camera
there.
come on and they can see your beautiful skyline there. Okay, so we're going to have an interview today, and I'm going to turn it over to Cindy to do the intro, and then we're going to go from there.
So I had heard about Erica through some friends and then purchased her book. But she had two very poignant interviews with Dr. Michael Salla, two interviews very worthwhile to watch. And she's written a book called Girl Stolen, and it's a very unbelievable read. I highly, highly recommend it. Very complex information, experience, jarring, unbelievable, shocking, to name a few. So, welcome, Erica. Very, very pleased that you can spend time with us. And
Thank you so much for having me.
yeah, so I want to talk about, I want to introduce Erica with her bio so that we understand her background a little bit. So, Erica is a contactee, an experiencer, multidimensional seer, medical intuitive, and quantum healer. She was taken at the age of 3 into secret government programs. Her consciousness was split into alters through torture. She was then used as a spy, intuitive, empath, pilot, and as a key to open portals that led off planet. And this is all available in her book in depth. I highly, highly recommend it. Today, she gives all her time and energy helping others break free from the chains of the control of the matrix, connected to their hearts, remember and heal their past, and find their sovereignty. Erica has a small podcast called Amoreena. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, Amoreena. Yeah, that's my middle name.
Amoreena. Okay, Amoreena Blue
Blue
Star
Star Kachina. Yeah.
Latina, where she shares on depth conversation with other awakened and activated souls. Her website is ericaamoreena.com. I'm going to repeat that again, ericaamoreena.com, and it's spelled ERICAAMOREENA.com. Her book, Girl Stolen, is part one of a series that describe her life from the perspective of a targeted and tortured individual, and how she discovered how to free herself from the hold of the military industrial complex. Okay, so welcome, Erica. I'm blown away from the book, because on Michael Sala's podcast you can only say so much. The book is much more, much more in depth, and I like Erica to also discuss her services because with her unique background, she offers a lot of wonderful services to any of our viewers who may be interested. So take it away, Erica.
Don't, I'm not good at taking it away. Where did you want me to start?
So let's talk about your website first, and then we can go
Okay.
in depth of your book. So tell us what I know that prior to recording this interview, you had said that it's going to take you a couple weeks to revamp your website. So I just want people to know that the reason why she needs to revamp is because she really truly offers multi-dimensional services, very in depth. So she
Yeah.
wants, yeah. So she wants her website to look better and
Clear.
much more in depth. Okay, so
Because
tell us.
what, what, I ended up being able to see inside the human body, I can find illness at its source and find simple suggestions for it. I'm not a physician. I'm not a licensed anything. I can just see through pretty much everything. Being trained by our secret governments, they really spend a lot of money on you and developing your skills. And once I healed from all the damage they caused, which I'm still not quite healed, I still have to eat out of a feeding tube right now.
Wow.
About 30 years ago, they pretended that they had to do a surgery on my jaw for a tooth, and they ended up putting an implant about this big, really, really deep inside. And it was slowly poisoning me over the last 30 years, and we just found it. So they had to take out the two tumors, and most of my bone in my face is gone. So it's very hard to talk. Yeah, it's very painful. So bear with me.
Of course.
Um, yeah, with as far as my services, because I spent so much time really isolated and going through just hell on earth with what the Greys were doing to me, what the military was doing to me nightly. Um, at 5, 6, 7 years old, they were literally taking me and my sister off planet every night. And I cannot tell you that damages our bodies. It is not good for our bodies. So I spent a lot of time healing, but I have this passion, this calling, this fire inside me. I don't want anybody else to suffer as I suffered, to be targeted as much as I was targeted, and not have anyone to talk to. Part of what they do to keep us not speaking, besides poisoning us and inserting things, is they would abduct family members and friends. And through mind control, they'll use injections and they'll do tricks, and people will one day be talking to me, will be fine, there'll be no issues. And then the next day, all of a sudden, they don't want to even have anything to do with me. That's been my targeting my entire life. They did this to my family. They do this to anyone I get close to. So, I literally now just spend all my time working with clients. I just don't want anyone else to suffer as much as I have.
Well, how gracious of you. We're blessed to be talking with you, Erica. Okay, so you're a medical intuitive. You can see bodies energetically. You offer readings, and what are some
Yeah.
other?
Soul readings, I can look into the soul's journey, what star systems you've lived through, what past lives. A lot of us, especially the envoys, come from the future, and that's something that I can see. There's no time. There's only time here on Earth. When you get out there, it doesn't really exist.
Right?
Everything's happening all at once. For example, my consciousness is shared, not shared. My consciousness is in other avatars, in other dimensions, doing other things all at once, but I have all access to all of them to bring all that information here and now, if that makes sense.
Yep, I do understand.
And that
Okay.
that really helps with working with people too, because if there's something that it can't be understood here, I can bring it back from wherever wherever it is understood and be that bridge.
So, do you do your medical intuitive and reading and soul reading through Zoom, or is it a phone
It's
call?
it's a Zoom phone call. It's recorded, and I give a lot of information, probably too much information. I think I have a very high standard. I do have very high standards. If somebody's going to come to me and pay money, they're going to leave feeling better. That's just, there's no, you're not going to come to me as a client and then say, "Ah, she didn't really help me." That's not how I operate. You're going to be helped, or I'm going to find somebody or something else that can help you better.
Wonderful. Excellent. So it looks like this is your first book. Uh,
Yeah.
you're working on your second book, and what would your second book entail?
This first book is basically, I found a box of journals about 3 years ago in my mom's garage, and I had gaslit myself for 50 years, thinking that I was broken or something wrong with me. I thought that I just had a really hard life, that I couldn't get anywhere, that I couldn't move forward. And I found this box and I'm going through these journals, and I'd left myself messages all the way back from age 7.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
well, it was shocking because I'd been lying to myself, like, "Oh, I have a great family, I have a great childhood, this is great." Nothing was great. I had so many horrifying things happen, and the way the military would wipe my memory is, as I would see these things happen, I would forget them. And it was daily, they would literally come into my house, put me and my family under, and there was nothing I can do. My babies are small, my kid, I can't go there. Yeah, they're very insidious, nefarious agencies. I would find, like, back in the day when we didn't have cell phones or internet, I would have these experiences where I would have missing time. And on my phone bill, remember we used to have phone bills and they would tell us
Yeah.
there would be these outgoing collect calls to, I can't pronounce it. Uh, I can't pronounce it. Slovakia in
Oh,
Russia.
Yep,
Yeah, I
Czechoslovakia.
can't pronounce it because I'm still numb and swollen. Come to find out, many years later, I work with the Russian government, and that was me making the phone calls. Like, the things that I thought were crazy were happening to me was because I was part of something that I didn't remember I was part of. And it sounds, it was horrifying. It's not, I mean, it sounds exciting to be able to work with the CIA, NSA, ICC, ACIO, numbers group, umbrella group. These are part of the corporations that did own me. But they torture you to train you, and it's horrifying.
My assistant is writing a book on children and MK Ultra. Would this fit into that as well?
Yeah, that's the MK Ultra. The way, and most of it was created by the Nazi Fourth Reich, not the Third Reich. I mean, the ones when they put the people in the concentration camps, as far as we know in our history, they tested all of these things that they were planning to do on them first. And then they all immigrated to America through South America. And through Operation Paperclip, a lot of these doctors continued doing these tests and called it medical help.
Wow.
So,
Who would
yeah.
you define as the you talk about the secret government? Who would you define as is this like Donald Trump? Is this the corporations that may
These
control the
are these are the
technology?
ICC, the military industrial complex. These are bloodline families that they call the cabal now. They have the secret space program has grown into this massive entity of secret corporations that want to, I mean, basically, they have all the money that they need to do any experiments they want to do. So there's nothing under the sun they haven't tried on, and at this point, I know people don't want to hear this, but at this point, 100% of humanity is being abducted and used for something. Um, the way that works, they're able to portal into our bedrooms. They're able to walk through our walls. There's so much technology that they can use. They can put entire neighborhoods to sleep. I've witnessed this. My sister's witnessed this. We don't talk. We were used to, I mean, they used,
Against each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's in my book. If I can give an example of how they split my family, I was about 5 or 6 years old, and even my sister remembers the craft. We lived in the middle of the country. We were like easy pickings. Oh my God. Nobody would, they didn't even have to cloak. We were in the middle of nowhere. The ships would come down. This one time, they abducted my entire family, and it was the military. And sometimes the military will cloak and show you that they are grays or some kind of ETs, so you think you have a ET experience, but no, it's just the military. Um, this one instant, the military abducted me and my father and mother and sister, and they made them sit. They couldn't move. They've got that paralysis technology, and they made them watch my dad. They made my dad watch them torture and rape me. This wasn't just one time. This was over and over and over until, in the beginning, he was screaming, don't do that. Don't, please stop, please stop. Eventually, what do you do as a human? When you're seeing something that is so horrifying, your mind does something to protect you. It just
Turn.
shuts. So I ended up not having, that was they're brilliant in how they split families. After that, my mother and father couldn't look at me, but they didn't know why.
Mhm.
They couldn't, if they saw me suffer, if I got a cold, if I got sick, it would shut them off. So there was severe neglect after that. And I want to say this, as abusive as my family was after that, they were victims too. It wasn't, it took me a long time to get over because, as a child, I'm like, why didn't my dad save me?
Yeah.
Why didn't they do something? But I didn't know they couldn't.
Yeah.
And, it still hurts a lot.
So sorry.
Um,
What age? What age did this take place?
five, five,
5.
6, yeah.
Wow.
You said that you worked for the Soviets. Are they doing the same thing? Like, how do you know you're being taken by, say, American forces or Russian forces, or is it a government, a
I
worldwide?
didn't at the time. I didn't know at the time that,
Okay,
that they
but
were.
you're understanding now. Like you said, you work for the Soviets based upon these phone calls. So,
Yeah, that was my proof. No, I met I had an appointment with somebody who had my records, and they were able to tell me, and from that I was able to go back through my past and put the pieces together. I don't work for these anymore. It was always an aspect of me that I didn't remember. But now, through many different things, a lot of MRIs, a lot of illnesses, a lot of death experiences, not near death, but death experiences where I'm dead for a few minutes. Um, Something in my mind broke loose, and I believe a lot of that happened in 2022 when I had they had abducted me and they did it wrong, and I woke up bleeding and bruised, and I had been gone for a very long time. They didn't wipe my memory of that, and the shock from that, that's in my book, um, 2022, the shock from that broke everything in my mind open. So I didn't have the compartmentalization anymore. I had full recollection, and I mean, trying not to go crazy with that. I had nobody to turn to. I had to figure out, I had, I can't pronounce her name, Niara Teresa Isley's book. And that was the closest thing that helped me understand what happened to me. And from there, I had to put pieces together. I had a lot of help from my star family, but it's been very, very difficult. It was very, very difficult. But now that I've been through it and everything has an energetic signature. Every group has an energetic signature. So you know if there's negative people coming into your room at night versus benevolent, because the way you wake up, the energy you feel, it's very telling now. And I wrote journals, like I journaled everything for 50 years, so I have something to look back on and to compare all that with.
W would
So,
you would you be psychic or have you abilities without these events happening? Because we wrote a book called Contact Modalities, and we saw that in all sort of people who have these abilities, there's always some sort of trauma in the background,
yeah.
whatever it may be.
I had a I remember being 1.5 years old in my crib and levitating my toys to play with my sister who was just born. No, she was born when I was 2.5. But yeah, I remember being able to do things. We when they send you to kindergarten and they have those pages where you fill out, what is your favorite color? What do you like to do? I was writing down, I can't figure out how to find my magic. Where did my magic go? I can't, I was writing that instead of my favorite color is blue.
Yeah. Wow. Um, so tell us who your star family is.
Well, there's many levels to that. I'm Andromedan, Syrian, Pleiadian, um, and then there's a race I can't really describe it, so old. I have Elohim, angelic races. That's all of it. And I found that out in 2022 after they had abducted me, and it's all in my book. I had missing time, and I woke up and they had beat me up and raped me and left me for dead, and I had to go to work the next day. I had nobody to turn to. Like, I can't even tell you how I went to the police. I went to the hospital. They put me in the hospital. They knew what had happened, but nobody would help me. The police patted me on the head and said, "It's over. You'll heal in time." And that was it.
Wow.
It was so difficult for me. And at the time, I lived right in Pacific Grove on the water. I don't know if you've ever been there. When you walk out, there's a drop off and the water crashes on the rocks. And it had gotten so stressful for me that I decided one night, okay, I can't live like this. There's people after me. I have no support. I don't, I couldn't sleep. I was leaving like booby traps in my room so that nobody would break in at night because that's how they got me before. Had no idea what was going on. I was so terrified. I couldn't eat. I was fainting. Um, the stress just, it got too much. So one night I cleaned up my room. I took a shower and I got dressed and I was going to go jump into the ocean in that part where it's cold, there's sharks. I knew I couldn't get out. I felt like that was the safest thing for me to do at the time. But what happened was as soon I got dressed and I I tidied up my apartment even, but I went and I put my hand on the doorknob to open it to walk out, and I got so fizzy and buzzy feeling, and I had to lay down for a second, and I was beamed up into a craft that my family was all around me. They were making jokes about me wanting to jump in the ocean because, yeah, it was this is shocking to just even talk about. But that's when I learned that I did have star family and that they supported me and that I had a bigger job, and they calmed me down and explained a lot to me to help me understand my position here. And I kind of got a new lease on life. After that, there was an aspect of me that was so broken that did walk out, and I had another stronger aspect of my oversoul walk in so that I didn't have to carry around that torture anymore because it's a lot. And, also writing everything out was very cathartic, and it left room for good things to come in because I've never known anything good in my life. I've never had a chance to.
So, would you say you answered the call from the universe, from the galactic, to come to Earth to help move us
Oh
into a
yeah, I know I did. I was actually created, and created. I got to watch this. This was unnerving. They made my body and they put my body in my mom's womb. I was created for what I have to do. I'm not just I wasn't just born from my mom and dad, if I can't explain it very well. Um, yeah, I was made for my role here.
Did you agree to all the bad things in your life before you came here? Is that part of the plan?
Yeah, I wanted to I found this out later, not right away, but I found out that this is the type of person I am. I want to know everything about everything. I wanted to know how can all these children be stolen from the planet? How and why, but mostly how are they doing this? And I went into every dark underbelly of everything, satanic ritual abuse, Montauk, being electrocuted and sent to look at different futures that these crazy people at Montauk were planning the cabal were planning these different Armageddon scenarios, and they would send me to check and make sure everything was destroyed, and it was not a fun childhood.
it
So
sounds awful.
is that part of how things unravel that we need this kind of stuff? Like, like in terms of if volunteering to come, if you knew that was part of the plan.
I did. I did, and I now I know. Now it doesn't bother me. Now I understand why I went in. Now I understand why I wanted to experience it. Now, when I'm experiencing these things as a child, there is an aspect, okay, so there's an aspect of me going through that torture, the 3D aspect, but there's a part of me that knows I'm safe and that this is my job, but that was subconscious at the time. That was not something that I was aware of at the time. But I always wondered how come I could still wake up in the morning happy after these, and hopeful and keep going. It's because I knew this wasn't going to be permanent. I knew that we were going to put a stop to it. That was why I was going in there. You know, the Greys, when I was a child, used me as a pilot. Now, what they used me for was hiding cargo ships full of trafficked children. I was able to open portals just because of who I am as a soul and my frequency. So they used me to hide children in pocket dimensions so that we could, they could, not we, sorry, they could sell them off planet or take them through specific portals. I can't even describe to you as a kindergartner and a first grader how much guilt and shame I carried to the point where I couldn't function. Like, I don't have words.
Can you describe flying the ship? Because that was something that always interested me in the how they move from one place to another, how you were taught to fly the ship. Is you were saying as a child, right?
Yeah. So I would sit in there. They started with a two-dimensional screen in front of me, and they put something over attached to here, over my head, over my eyes. And actually, before that, they did this to a lot of kids. They will come to your house, they'll make you sleepwalk outside, and they'll ask you to levitate and see if you can levitate. Um, if you talk to a lot of people have that memory of, yeah, these people came and told me to levitate this or levitate myself, and that's the grays, and that's how they see if you're able to fly a ship. So then after that, they abduct you and put you into this 2D screen and they test you because your consciousness is wed to the craft and you need to know how to fly it and move it from A to B and lift to whatever altitude. And I can still feel right now, like if I go into that memory, I can still feel the sensation of having to lift it. And I was always worried that I wouldn't do it well enough because the threat was that I was going to be one of the kids that were sold as food or sex workers. And that was always my threat. So I tried to do the best I could as a pilot. But what happened with that was as an adult, part of me still had all the coordinates of where those pocket dimensions were. So, they put this in the screw in me. They did things to try to kill me. They didn't never wanted me to talk. They never wanted me to talk. When I started talking a year ago on podcasts, the helicopters over my house, the vans parked outside my window here. I would be abducted. They would shoot me up with drugs. They would do a lot of putting me in clone bodies, raping me. And it was always shut the F up. You are not going to remember. You're not going to talk. And now, I see a lot of clients who've got throat issues or lymphatic issues or chronic something because it's an emotional blockage
Yeah.
from that kind of trauma. So if you'd ask me now, I wouldn't trade it because I have the knowledge and the wisdom to help everybody else. So no, I wouldn't trade it, but it should have never happened. The stuff that happened on this planet should never have happened.
Wow. Well, the fact that you say you wouldn't trade it, it definitely has to do with soul contract. That was part of your soul plan, soul contract.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, now I know. Now I don't have the fear. Um, you know, I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't even go to the store. There would be like sleeper agents that would just pop up at the store and either try to hit me. I've been in a crowd and a sleeper agent will just wake up and just come and beat me up. I am 100-pound tiny person. I'm very shy. I'm an introvert. These things have always happened, and I thought something was wrong with me. And that's the biggest thing that pisses me off about this is they do this to us. We're victims, and they make us feel like we're broken and that it's our fault and that there's something wrong with us. And I hear that from pretty much everyone I talk to, and I see about a dozen clients a week. Yeah, we're not broken. Most of our negative thoughts aren't ours. So,
They're inserted.
oh yeah.
Wow.
Or entities whispering. Everybody who were part of some of these programs had an archonic entity attached to them that would stay with them, that would keep them disempowered. They did so much. The satanic stuff was done by Michael Aquino, who was the psychological operation, something off, Lieutenant Colonel of Psychological Operations for the U.S. Army.
Wow. So how much abduction is non-human intelligence and how much is actually military?
I would say 95% of it is military, imitating people. Benevolent abduction, there is a lot of it. It's mostly in dream state. We all have support. We all have a huge team around us that is always waiting to help us. We need to ask for it out loud.
Yeah.
A lot of us feel so,
Helpless.
so yeah, like we can't ask, but we have teams that are just waiting and wanting to help us and wanting to get us through whatever we're going through.
So if Cindy comes to you and finds out that she's got these memories that are bad memories and it's happened to her too, how do you help somebody?
Say that again. So if she
If
had,
say Cindy were to
well,
come
it
to you
depends
with,
on what. So if she found out that she was used as whatever,
yeah.
um, the first thing I would do is go in and say, okay, let's find that part of you that agreed to that child, because that child part of you is was tricked, was probably threatened, is probably still scared. And we go and, get that, talk to that child aspect that was pulled into that program or was split through torture and let them know, hey, I'm here now. You're not alone. This wasn't your fault. I had a lot of aspects of mine that didn't want to come back and integrate because they felt so ashamed of what they did. And I can't tell you the amount of nights curled up in a ball in a fetal position and trying to convince other parts of myself that it wasn't my fault, that what I did was done under duress. It wasn't my fault. And eventually they came in, but it was a lot of work.
So, because this is such a traumatic, heinous experience you went through, how what's your recovery like? So that you're able to function and face
There's,
life.
like I said, I'm at the point now where I'm grateful for my experiences because of what I can bring to the table for people. Sorry, give me a minute.
It's okay. It's okay.
See, I think I was just talking about this to a friend. I made my very first YouTube video last night, and we were talking about this. Like, I wouldn't trade it because of what I can help with now. If I hadn't gone through it, a lot of people wouldn't know any of this.
Yeah.
Um, and we would have thousands of people still thinking that there's something wrong with them, blaming themselves and it creates illness. any emotional blockage creates illness, creates cancer, creates everything I see, you know. Sorry, did I answer the question? I wasn't sure if I did or not.
Yes, you did. I feel that you're channeling your heinous experience, your terrifying experience, and in order to piece it all together, you're turning it into helping others
Yeah,
to see a
I
purpose.
pieced mine. Mine makes sense to me. You know, I don't believe that if you still have a lot of healing to do, that you should be helping others because you're going to be looking at things through a crooked lens.
Yep.
Your perspective is going to be a little bit askew because you haven't healed. So I waited, you know, I've done psychic work since I was 17, just readings, but I waited until I had worked through this
Hmm.
enough to where you can mention any part of it and I don't break down. You know, I still feel the sadness because I feel it, the collective sadness about it. I'm not feeling sorry for myself at all. I know that I chose this. I know that I was strong enough to do this. I lost my thought there. Got
That's
emotional.
okay. It's okay. It'll come back. You know that you know that your life in your experience is purposeful.
Yes. Yeah. And that's something that I like to bring to other people. Like we all have a purpose. There is nobody that has something that you don't have. Everything that you need is inside of you.
The
Everything.
kingdom is within.
Everything I needed was inside of me. And what I was broken doing was looking to everyone else, like, please tell me what to do. Like I had,
Yeah.
but all I needed to do was get quiet and really look deep. And when I did that, that's when, oh, I have to deal with all of these child aspects of me that were split and lied to. And now I'm at the point where I am grounded, centered, no matter what goes on around me. I know who I am and I can manage. The storm won't touch me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can walk through the storm and come out fine on the
Yeah.
other
And I
end.
can go back, I can go in and grab somebody's hand who is in the storm and who might be feeling like they're going crazy, and I can walk them out without getting hurt again, if that makes sense for
Yeah, so
me.
that to me would make sense why you're doing the work that you do. You give readings, you help people heal, and you've become a medical intuitive because all illnesses is energetic. So you're trying to teach that how our thoughts, our emotions, how powerful they are, that we
They
can
are.
literally transcend.
Yeah. There is nothing in our bodies that we can't heal.
Yeah, yeah, it's here. The kingdom is within.
Yes.
If you were to go back before you were born, would you do it again?
Yeah,
And your
because
children, what you mentioned you had children. Does this extend down to your children? Where does that all go?
say that again. I can barely hear you. I'm sorry.
Sorry, you mentioned that you had children, and so I'm wondering what the role of the children is. That gone down to them, or are they involved, or what's going on there?
Like I said, 100% of the population is involved now. Of course, because of my DNA, they used my children. Um, I hate that. My children have their own soul path. You know, only my children here on earth. They're their own soul.
Mhm.
All I can do is heal myself and show them that there's there can be healing and a normal life. Um, yeah, I have three kids and I have three grandkids, and the last time I was visiting my grandkids, I watched a gray come in and take my grandson, but you know, it all I can do is give them what I know.
How do your
And
children react though? How do they know about this, or how do they react to
nobody knows
it?
about this. I mean,
Oh,
do you
okay.
know that you're being abducted? Do you guys know you're being abducted? You probably don't remember.
But
They,
if a kid comes home, and has nightmares and stuff like that, I mean, I talk to a lot of people where, the children they figure it from their children first before they realize they're part of it. That what's
yeah,
going on with my kid? The kid is stressed out. They come back with marks and stuff like that.
yeah, wake up with bloody noses. I always had a bloody nose when I woke up. My grandkids have bloody noses when they wake up. I do, I don't push them because I don't want to place thoughts in their head that they don't come up with.
Yeah,
So, but I'm there to listen. Like, my one of my grandkids is autistic and didn't speak, still doesn't really speak. He had his own language, but he would tell me about a cyborg that would come into his room that he didn't like. And all I can do is let him know, well, don't be afraid. You just tell him to go. You tell him that it's your space.
yeah,
Because what people don't realize is we have the authority. We have the right to say, stop, get the fuck out of my house.
yeah.
Sorry, pardon me.
It's okay.
You have to be that forceful. You have to.
You have to be forceful. You have to
You have
command.
to be you have to be in your sovereignty. If you've got, okay, so the way the military tech works, it works on your amygdala, it works on your fight or flight. When they portal in or whatever, however they decide to come into your, that sleep paralysis that we get,
Hmm.
that is technology that affects our fight or flight. The moment we react, like having a moment of fear, they got you. If you can stay absolutely calm and centered and grounded and be aware that they're coming in, like in my book, I write about the moment I took control of and stopped the military from coming in. Um, Staying very calm, grounded, knowing who you are,
Hmm.
and they'll come in and try, and you can just say no. You know who I am, I know who you are, I know what you're doing, get out. And they have to.
Hmm.
Because they're breaking not only the law, they're breaking universal law, they're breaking galactic laws, they're breaking all kinds of free will.
So, Erica, help me. This is a personal question. Help me understand. I hear the elite, the cabal, the Illuminati. So, help me, and you refer to them as cabal. Help me understand why, like, where did that name come from? Um,
Um, it's what I'm referring to. I don't have names because these are all secret, so I don't have names for them. I know that these corporations run the world. I know that they've got the most money. I know that a lot of them are dark projects that we pay taxes into. I don't know what else to call it,
hmm. Hmm.
so I use those words.
Okay, got it.
They're well, they're on their way out now, but most of it comes from the throne, the crown, the Vatican. Um, it goes deep, but a lot of these controllers had off-world ET backers, powerful demons, powerful reptilians, that powerful magicians that were helping them do what they do. And
Mm-hmm.
now all those guys are gone. They're like on their own, just being human, and they're not going to succeed because they don't have any backing anymore.
So the backings are gone. Is it because the consciousness of Gaia is rising
Because
and
so
people are
yeah,
waking up more?
Mother Sophia is being rebirthed again. That power, nature's, it's the natural organic way, like humans. That's the authority here. this planet is for humanity, not for grays, not for reptilians, not for gray hybrids. This planet is for humanity to naturally evolve and grow without any interference. And we've had plenty of interference, but not for long. Um, I do still work with Solar Warden and Earth Alliance. We did escort a lot of the dark magicians off the planet about a month ago. They surrendered because they don't have their backing either. I don't get the full view. I just know that certain things happen, and I get validation by listening to other, looking at the news and stuff. So
Makes sense. Well, your story is really, really powerful.
it's out there.
And
Yeah.
well, it's at the same time, I've heard many powerful stories, but your story especially is so heart-wrenching. It's really hard to listen to because it's because of the suffering, because we're all connected. So as your experience is speaking your experience, and I feel it.
And the thing is, how many people have gone through this and don't remember yet? And I don't think it's necessary to remember. I
Hmm.
think it's necessary to acknowledge that it could have happened
Hmm. Hmm.
and to work on those aspects of yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Everybody at this time really needs to be silent and go within and really pay attention to what's going on in their consciousness, because that's the universe. That's the real universe. It is not external. It is not what's going on with anyone else. What is most important is what's going on in your own universe. Our hearts are portals. Our wombs are portals. We are universes within ourselves. And going into that is very important right now. We have energy and light hitting the planet that we've never had before. It's coming from the galactic central sun. It's coming from a lot of some is coming from Andromedan ships, some of it's coming from Syrian ships. Everybody is working together to get the energy on the planet high enough to where things are going to be okay. I'll just
But
people.
I feel like we're in the midst of it. I don't know
Yeah.
where, I don't know when that light is gonna come out.
Oh, yeah. It's it's like it's like shaking up a dusty room. All the dust is going to come up and it's going to look, dense, but then
When it settles.
yeah, everything's going to be different. It really
Well,
is.
Grant and I interviewed this gentleman named Walter, and he understands channeling in depth. And he had talked about what Bashar was saying, contact in 2027. So that to me is exciting, and I hope it's true.
I don't listen to Bashar. What did he say about contact?
Um, I'm just going to say possible contact 2027, sometime in the year of 2027.
Well, we're having it now. A lot of people are having it now. I mean, it's personal contact in there. Are you talking about like like in big
Global,
crowds?
global.
Yeah, that's I feel like that could be a very big possibility.
Hmm.
2027 to me feels ripe with that, but I know it's happening in small groups now
Sure.
already.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just small groups because most of my circle of friends, including the family I was birthed into and the family I created, everybody's asleep.
I know where if you're an envoy or a star seed, you're gonna be surrounded by, yeah, we're just placed all over the planet for that reason. We're like nodes that are placed equidistantly and we're all isolated. We all have our gaslighting families to deal with.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
But that's in a sense to push us into discovering what our power is, what our personal power is. We're given hardships to overcome them, and when you overcome them, you've got that sense of, wow, I did that. I'm powerful. I wonder what else I can do. And
yeah.
that's why life pushes us. Now, I think that the military took it way too far with their abuses. I don't, it will never be okay with me. What happened on this planet will never be okay with me, ever, no matter what life I'm in. But again, that's why a lot of us came here to stop it, to understand it so that we could stop it.
Erica, what are you planning in the future? What's your goals in the
My goals for the future, I'm just no, I don't know. I just work. Um I'm I'm trying to build a conglomeration of really authentic healers that are, real, that can make a difference. I believe that a lot's going to shift from like influencers. You know how right now we've got a few people at the top that are influencers and everyone's looking to them for answers. And I just don't agree with that because it feels like, I don't know the word, imperialistic, like a king or queen. And I think that a real disclosure is going to come through many, many people. I'm already seeing it with my clients right now. This blows my mind. I have clients now. I'm from Africa, United Kingdom, Scotland, Australia, South America, and they're all telling me similar things. Like they're having dreams of meeting their ships and meeting their admirals, and this has all been in the last since Three Eye Atlas is coming in. So I'm really feeling like that's going to have a huge impact on our consciousness when it comes through and does a little drive-by on every planet in the solar system. It's almost like you know how the music was turned from 432 hertz to 440 hertz? Our entire galaxy was kind of distorted like that, and what the job of Three Eye Atlas is to come in and just kind of retune every little planet back to where it was supposed to be so that the harmonics of the entire solar system are healed. It's the right harmonics because everything has been messed with. Everything has been messed with.
So what race is doing the Three Eye Atlas? Do you know?
Many. That's all
Many.
I know. Yeah. Many, many different races. That's all I know.
Okay. Grand, have you heard of the Three Eye Atlas?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, it's a comet that's coming into our solar system.
But it's a spaceship, it's not a comet.
Yeah, it's a ship.
Okay.
It's kind of like Oumuamua.
Yeah, Amuamua. Yeah, so do you know anything about because that happened, what, 2017? So
Around
was
there.
that a spaceship too?
Yeah, it was they use hollowed out asteroids. They
Mm-hmm.
make really good ships.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know about it though. What's happening now, I think is going to surprise everybody because there's not going to be just one or two people in the know. Nobody's in the know. And I think that's great so that everybody individually can discover for themselves what's really going on. And there's not going to be like one person that, oh, I know, I'm the only one that can tell you what's going on. No, I think this is going to come from a lot of people at once, and that's how we're going to be able to say, wait, this is the real thing. Like all of these people around the world can't be under the same spell or under the same, they can't be,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
right, right, right. Yeah, as Walter was explaining to us, it sounded like possibly that it's the Pleiadians who are going to make themselves known because they look like Earthlings.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of ETs that look exactly like Earth. There's a lot that are even here that we don't know.
Right,
I
right. They
mean,
walk
I'm
among
I'm
us.
one, but you wouldn't, like we're all kind of ETs, so
Yes, we are. Yes, makes sense. Totally, totally. Fascinating. So, how many, when you see clients, is it Monday through Friday, or is it you're open 7 days a week, or how does that work?
um have to change this. I've been working 6 days a week, and that's not healthy for me because I'm not well yet. I'm still fighting this bone infection. I'm trying to make sure everyone gets seen, and I'm trying not to kill myself in the same at the same time.
And so it sounds like you need balance.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm
Okay,
getting
good.
there. I didn't expect what I could do would I didn't expect this. Like I didn't expect myself to open in this way to be able to do what I can do. And I get excited about it and I'm so passionate about it that I forget to, eat, sleep, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gaining balance with that.
Okay, good. So how long have you been helping people to discover their
Um,
identity and what they've been through in their soul contract?
a few years now. I never stopped doing readings, but I took a break when I realized that how can I help others if I'm not completely healed myself? How
Yep.
can I really see clearly? Like I said, we've all got attachments and we all have some people haven't got rid of their grays yet. Some people haven't worked out their mind control issues yet. Some people still have alters they switch into. How can you honestly fully be of service if you still have that going on?
Yeah,
If
right.
you're not checking your own aura every day, which I check mine like too many times a day to make sure I'm clear, because I want to be sure that what I'm bringing through, and I don't channel, what I'm bringing through is truth. And for that person's highest, soul, the best,
So
the best for them.
would you say someone who's completely in the five sensory realm, completely asleep, like going to work, come home, just all the earthly stuff, would you say that's somebody who doesn't have any of this, the ET non-human intelligence experience because it's blocked, or are they just,
There, like I said again, and this is so unpopular, but 100% of people are being taken.
is so, yeah, this is why I'm asking you this
Yeah.
question.
So what I've seen is the people that are happy with that work, home, Netflix, chill, beer,
Yeah,
pizza, game,
yeah,
don't want to know.
don't want to know. Okay.
That's their choice, and that's okay.
Uh-huh.
That's got to be okay. I see a lot of hatred for, oh, those stupid people that are asleep. But yeah, would you want to know? Like some people don't want to know, and I totally support that.
Because it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And a lot of people are going to live out their lives not knowing, and that's okay. You know, when it's their time, it'll be their time, and we need to have compassion for that and not be judging it. Um,
So when you see someone on the street, would you be able to tell from their energetic field and their aura that they've been taken and they are awake? Or, or, are they just, you know, just all the earthly stuff? Would you say that somebody who completely in the five sensory realm, completely asleep, would you be able to tell from their energetic field and their aura that they are, they've been taken and they are awake? 'Cause it sounds like you're
Yeah, there's an energy. There's an energy when people have been to space. There's an energy I feel if people have been taken by the military the night before. There's a frequency, and I'm so attuned to different frequencies, even microscopic, this
Sure.
smallest little vibration. Yeah.
Well, as Nikola Tesla famously said, if you want to understand the universe, you must see it as energy, frequency, vibration. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So when do you think your second book is going to be finished, and do you have a title for it?
No, I no, it's just going to be the part two. I don't know. I'm so booked right now with clients. I just I don't know. I don't know. And then I want to start classes because I want to be able to teach people how to get out of attacks, how to avoid abductions, and how to protect themselves at night. So I want to start classes like that. I'm just one person though. I don't know how
Right,
to
right.
do it all.
So when you say you want to start classes, are you talking about Zooming classes, or
Yeah, I would like
you're
to
gonna?
start teaching because a lot of the clients are asking the same thing, and I feel like I could do better like doing groups. But again, I'll get there when I get there. I don't have plans for when. And if I give myself a deadline, I'll just end up burning out.
Right, right. So I'm feeling that that's something that you should offer once you revamp
Yeah. Yeah.
your website.
And there's people's who do work that are along the same lines, and I'm hoping that we can come together and figure something out. There's something that I've discovered that's really ugly in the communities, and this is something the military's doing. Um, I want to say this the right way. So you'll see a lot of speakers. Let me give examples like Corey Good was one of them. You'll see a lot of disclosure people that came out who were born in the 70s. Same year, same age. What has been done, because you see all the fighting and all the competition, what the military did and I saw this happen in real time at a conference, which is why I kind of stay away from conferences. I saw TR3Bs come down and everybody was taken up and everybody was MK Ultra, got an injection in the neck and tricked, um, programmed to never communicate with each other, only to be at odds. And this was done on purpose because if all these people that are the same age were to come together, this would all be done and the world would be free of everything. But they really made it hard. Like, I tried to reach out to people who are influencers, who are my age, who I know who went through the same stuff. And you can sense military there waiting. First of all, our emails won't go through. They will create mimics of us that attack each other. There is so much, like when you see fighting, it is done by these agencies. It's not the people themselves. Everybody's been a victim of this, and it pisses me off and it breaks my heart.
I think it's worth mentioning that when you mentioned the grays, my feeling is just like, I'm Asian, Caucasian, Japanese, French. I think that it's not all grays. It's whatever grays you're talking about. I don't want to lump them all, like all grays are scary.
No, 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 they're not. But again, a lot of the military agencies pretend to be grays,
Mm,
or they'll use grays so that you think it's a gray and it's a human. A
mhm.
lot of the stuff that's happening is human, and they cloak.
Yeah.
Another thing that is happening is people are having contact with mimics, not real Galactic Federation people. They look the same, they sound the same, they might make you feel the same, but you can tell in your heart space if your heart space doesn't feel expanded, if you can't take a full deep breath, if you're not completely relaxed in that loving, loving presence,
Mhm.
you're dealing with a mimic. And mimics will tell you what you want to hear, not what you should hear. They'll tell you what feeds your ego, not what feeds your soul.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, sounds very logical to use logic.
But it's confusing for a lot of people that want the romanticized idea of a ET lover that's a hell, you know? So you gotta watch out for that. There's so much trickery going on.
So that sounds to me it's part of the, like Gran says, getting all the dead body out of the basement. That
Wait, what?
So basically, so for example, using Donald Trump as an example, he is
Yeah.
actually where he needs to be because you need somebody like that to bring all the dead bodies,
Yep.
all the lies, all the
Yep.
chaos out.
Yep. And the way they're doing it, I think, is brilliant. The way they have, there used to be two sides. I don't watch politics, but they've got what I'm sorry, what are even the names? There's the lit
Democrats, the blue, and
yeah.
Republicans,
So
the
I
red.
know now there's the blue side is like release the Epstein files
Yeah.
because Trump is going to be caught. Let's do that. And I'm like, that's brilliant because everybody's going to be caught. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's a brilliant of the Earth Alliance to do it that way.
Yeah. Well, Walter had also said, um, from all the channeling session with many different mediums, that Trump is not going to be part of the disclosure in 2027 because that's not in his timeline. His timeline is a disruptor, is somebody
Yeah,
to
I
bring
agree with
all
that.
the ugliness out. His
Yeah.
timeline has nothing to do with enlightenment.
No, no, he's just being used for, yeah, everything that we deem as negative or good, positive or negative, is being used for the same purpose. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
To bring us to a point where we need to be at. And
yeah,
it's happening kind of brilliantly.
yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, Grant, do you have any more questions?
No, that'll do it. Maybe when her second book comes out, we can do another session. And
Well,
Okay.
I think that when you're ready to get when your website is up and running in the way that you want it, with all the different facet, we can do a quick introduction to promote.
Okay.
Because I think, if you're saying that 100% of humans are being abducted, whether it's physically, energetically, this information is very, very
I
helpful,
agree.
right?
I agree. It's very important
Yeah,
because if you think you can't be tricked, that's something, there's something wrong. Every one of us has to think about it. You know, are these feelings my feelings? Are these thoughts my thoughts? The biggest thing I ask people is, what is your baseline? What do you feel like without any influence of anything? And nobody knows, you know?
yeah,
It's hard for people to answer that. And
yeah,
that's what we all need to be at. I know who I am. This is my center. That is the most important thing to be focused on right now.
yeah, yeah. And I think it's important to bring you out into the open and much more, and be able to reach more people just because of the deceit, the
That's a
mind
good word.
control,
Yeah.
right? really, we all need to raise our consciousness and elevate
Yeah, the right way. And
that the right way.
you have to look at these things and really think about it. Could I be being tricked? If I feel strongly about this, is it from me? Is it really my feeling? Could I have been, or just asking, like, if you're talking to someone who has a huge following and they think they can't be tricked, there's a red flag.
Well, I think the fact that we're in this monetary system on Earth, we're all tricked,
Yeah, that's
right?
true. It's a spell. It's all,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
a
all a
spell.
spell. But
Yeah,
that's going to be over soon too. So,
because it's a perpetual circle that you can't get out of,
yep, that's
right?
the spell.
For
Yeah.
some people, they can't get out of. I mean, we have gotten out of it. We see things for what they are.
Hmm.
We just need more people to,
See things for how they
yes,
are.
to see things for, because the government of the planet is not for the people. So, yeah. It
Nope.
really, again, going back to the kingdom is within.
It is. It really is.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yes.
Jessica.
Erica, it's
Thank you,
okay.
Erica. Thank you so much, Erica.
You're welcome. Thank you
To,
for having me on and
Yes.
listening to that ugly story that I have to share.
well,
Thank
it
you.
just, I'm not experiencing it, so I mean, when I remember walking and listening to your YouTube video with Michael Salas, it was so gut wrenching. It was hard to listen. The abuse was, it was profound.
And
More
that
reasons
happens
why.
to a lot of people.
Yeah, so we really need to help each other. So,
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do.
Thank
so
you
I'm
for your
going to
question.
stop the recording, and
Okay.
then we can